So, what branch of the military is? I mean, it's Army. I'm guessing, right?
So, Army infantry.
Army infantry.
So the way it worked is that the green jackets were the king's chosen men.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones who could shoot a little bit better. They were given a jacket of green, and they were the ones that would take out the drummer or the bugler, because that was the communicator on the battlefield, telling which way people to go, and of course the officers and so on. So it was the
If I'm not mistaken, they were also responsible for scouting, right?
Sorry?
Were they not also responsible for scouting?
So Lord Baden-Powell was a general, and then he left the armed forces and then realized that he could use his skill sets. There was a lot of youngsters that would like to learn these skills, separate from the kinetic side of the military, but living outdoors, learning how to exist outside and survive and so forth. It can be quite fun. And that's where the scouting movement absolutely started.
No, I meant that the Green Jackets, I think I recently saw a small snippet of information on them. I believe the Green Jackets were also responsible for scouting, to send scouts forward to check whether or not to do reconnaissance, I think is the correct term.
Yes, that's right. Where, again, a jacket of green would be quite useful, so you're not seen.
Yeah. So how long were you in the military for?
So I'm still in. I serve as a reservist.
I believe you're a lieutenant colonel, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. And,
kudos.
So I stayed in for about 7 years. At a point where you go back to the classroom, you learn more about the wider concepts of warfare, Army, Air Force, Navy, land, sea, and air, and so on. And rather than doing that, I wasn't really ready for that. To then stay on another number of years, I thought time to get out. So I got out at an interesting time at the rank of captain.
Yep. So you mentioned beforehand that you felt a calling to politics. When did that calling come to you?
It was actually to do with decision making. Who makes the decision? Who do you bestow your own power as a person to make decisions for you? And I looked around, particularly when I was in the OTC, actually. Mm-hmm. What's the kit that we're using? Why are we using this kit when I know that there's better kit? The boots I'm wearing are terrible. Yeah. I could buy better boots down at the mountain warehouse. Yeah. And then you ask, well, actually, it's not the generals, because they would turn around and say, don't blame us, blame the politicians.
Okay.
And then I looked to see who was the defense minister, and they had no military experience whatsoever. Yeah. And that's when I realized, that's interesting. How do I then become a minister? Could I ever do that? And then I looked at some other people's careers, and it usually starts down at a very local level, parish council, district council, and you work your way up there. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what I did. I went down to the very base level where there was about 7 of us in a room discussing minute issues. You believe it or not, how many ducks are on the local pond that we had in a village politics. And then that was a stepping stone, and it was a 8-year project. If I hadn't become an MP by 8 years, I'll do something else.
So you were very laser focused on following up with this career, and you had a plan on how to execute it.